Hi, welcome. My name is Grace, and today we're going to do a little Vinyasa Flow class. We're going to work on some hip flexibility and leg strength today, and I hope that you find it relaxing yet rejuvenating. So if you feel comfortable, you can come into a crisscross or easy seat, and if you have a strap, you could also use a belt. I suggest grabbing that, or if you have a block as well. If you don't have either of those, or a belt, just take a beach towel or a really long towel, and you can fold it up really, really tiny to be a block, or grab both ends of the towel and use it just like you would a strap if you ever need it, just to kind of help if you can't reach somewhere. So coming into easy seat, crisscross applesauce. If it's a little tight on your hips, take your block and you can sit on it or sit on a pillow. And focus on a point in front of you on the mat, or if you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. Take a moment here to notice how your breathing is without changing it any. Begin to slow your breath, inhaling through the nose, pause, exhale through the nose, pause. After a couple breaths, you can float the eyes open if you have them closed. You're going to align your shoulders directly over your hips here, crown of the head over the shoulders, reaching upwards, almost like you're trying to lift your entire body from your mat. And we're going to inhale the arms up, exhale, right hand goes back, left hand on the right knee. Use your left hand as a little leverage to twist, looking over the right shoulder. And exhale, release. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, right hand, left knee. Left hand goes behind. Look over the left shoulder. Find twist in the upper rib cage here. With each exhale, push a little harder on that knee. And exhale out. Inhale, arms up one last time. Exhale, start bending at the hips. Keep the spine perfectly straight here. Shutting the heart back down to the floor to where you feel like you can't bend at the hips anymore. Then round the upper thoracic spine, melting the heart towards the mat. Try to keep your bottom glued to the mat, releasing the tension in the hips here, decompressing the spine. And exhale up. You can either come onto your side or cross your legs and flip over onto tabletop. In tabletop, our hips are directly above our knees, shoulders directly over wrists. Tuck the toes here, lift the knees just an inch or two. This is our modification for plank pose. This is lifted knees. Exhale, bring the knees back to the mat. Send the right foot out behind you and push into that right foot for a little runner stretch. If you want to wake up your core, you can also lift the left knee. And exhale, let the knee drop. Inhale the right leg up, exhale, left leg back. Pushing into that left heel. Maybe you lift the knee. And exhale, knee back down. We're going to shift the weight into the left hand again. Extend the right foot out behind you. Opposite leg, opposite hand here. With the weight in the right hand, we're going to inhale left up. So my left hand is up and my right foot is out. Try not to overextend, but keep a straight line from your thumb to your heel. You can stay here or exhale, knee to elbow. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, knee to elbow. Extend and retract. One more time, stretch long. Exhale, knee to elbow. Exhale, extend here, hold for a couple seconds, or option 2, open the shoulder, reach back for the left foot. Opposite hand and opposite foot. Kick into the hand here. Kind of waking up our balancing muscles here on the core. Exhale, hand back to mat, knee to mat. Maybe you take your wrists and flip your hands over, stretching up those arms. Maybe you put the hands to the left and move your arms to the left, stretching at the wrists. Come back into tabletop, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. This time we're going to shift the weight into the left hand, lifting the left leg. Flex the foot here to create a 90-degree angle. Inhale the right hand up. Option to stay here or exhale, knee to elbow. And extend. Inhale, exhale, knee to elbow. Round the back here. Extend. Inhale, knee to elbow, and exhale, extend. You can stay here, working on your core, or if you want to challenge your balance, open the shoulder first to the right side and find the foot. You can also use a strap here. And exhale, release. Bring the knees back to the mat. Take them as wide as the mat, your toes touching, and sit back to your heels. Let the hands come out in front of you, forehead to the mat. This is our child's pose. If a pose doesn't serve you today, or is just too intense for today, feel free to enter child's pose or come into child's pose instead of down dog. And inhale up, back into tabletop. If tabletop is ever too tender on your knees, take your mat, fold it an inch. So that way you have a little cushion. Or if you don't have a mat at home, I would suggest taking a towel and folding that and putting it on your knees or using it in your hands to be able to prop yourself up on. Still in tabletop, we're going to flex the toes, lift the knees, and then extend the legs into down dog. You're going to use all the muscles in your hands, the fingertips and the knuckles, all buried down into the mat. Take the shoulder blades and squeeze them away from your head, trying to bring your shoulders to your ears. Keep as much bend in the knees as you need. You're trying to melt the heels down to the mat here. Inhale the right leg up, three-legged dog. Keep the hips facing the mat. Flex the foot. Exhale, step the foot up in between the hands. If it doesn't quite make it, just grab your foot by the ankle and bring her up to your hands. This is our high lunge pose. You can activate the arms and the upper body here. And take that left foot, just like our runner stretch, and push it towards the back of the room, like someone has a string around your heel and they're pulling it. Feeling a nice nice little hip stretch here. Exhale, let the knee fall down to the mat. You can always do any of our lunge poses with the knee down. Inhale up. Take a moment to walk the leg further or closer, depending on what you need, but try and keep your knee aligned directly over your ankle. If you can't come up, I suggest grabbing a block, and maybe you're there, but try to come up with maybe a forearm on the knee. Inhale the arms up. If you don't have a lot of flexibility in the shoulders, whenever we inhale up, you can always do cactus arms. Exhale, bring the left hand back to the thigh, right hand out in front of us, a little twist. If you can't reach the thigh, you can just kind of tuck it under your lower back. So I'm turning the opposite way of my lifted knee. Maybe you reach back a little further. Bring the hand over the ear. And exhale, windmill the hands down. Flex the back foot, lifting into high lunge. Bring the right foot back to meet. Option to drop the knees or keep them up. Chaturanga. Squeeze the elbows into the rib cage. As slow as you can, descend down. Belly on the mat. Coming to a little baby cobra, you're going to inhale, lift the head, lift the shoulders. Grounding down through the belly button here. No weight in my hands. Lifting using the back muscles. Exhale, melt the forehead back to the mat. Bring the hands beside the shoulders. Inhale up, full cobra. In cobra, we keep the elbows a little bent. Up dog is where your hands are straight, but you can do whichever. Deep inhale here. Try not to squish into your shoulders, but push the neck away. Exhale, maybe you look to the right pinky toe. Inhale back to center. Exhale, maybe look the left pinky toe. And exhale, belly back to mat. Take your right forearm, place it directly under your right shoulder. Keeping the hips both on the mat. Try not to kind of fall into this right shoulder, but push the neck out of the shoulder. Flex your left foot and grab it with your left hand. Take a moment to kick into that left hand, maybe send the gaze forward. Trying to lift the knee off the mat here. Your weight should be in your belly button. Exhale, lower the knee back to the mat. And maybe pull the foot close to the thigh. If that feels good, you can try and get your elbow up on top of the foot. Kind of stretches the shoulder a little bit. Try and flex the left quad here like you're again trying to pick the knee up off the mat metaphorically. And exhale, release. Switch the hands. Left forearm down, left elbow directly under left shoulder. Sending my right hand back. I like to grab the inside of my foot. Ground down through the belly button here. Kick into the right hand. If you can, see if you can shift the weight onto your stomach instead of the front arm while kicking into the foot. Exhale, lower the knee. The weight is back on my forearm. Deep inhale, exhale, bring the foot close to the thigh. You can always use a strap if you cannot reach your foot in any of the poses. Maybe bring the elbow up on top of the foot. Maybe send the gaze forward. Again, activate those quad muscles. Try to metaphorically lift the knee off the mat. And exhale, release the right foot. Bring the hands back under the shoulders. Flex into the feet and push up through your belly button, either into tabletop or all the way into down dog. Melting the heels back towards the mat. Keep as much bend in the knees as you need. Inhale, bend into the knees, everyone. Look up, past the fingertips, step, hop, or float. Up to the top of the mat, into our first forward fold. Uttanasana. Maybe you interlock the elbows here and make circles. Keep as much bend in the knees as you need. Let the hands fall down to the mat and inhale, halfway lift. Hands on the shins, ankles, or the floor, but wherever you are, your spine is perfectly straight, not overarching or rounding up. Deep inhale. Exhale, melt the heart back towards the knees. Before inhale all the way up into candlestick. Maybe interlock the hands here, pointing the index finger, finding a point on the floor in front of you. Begin to shift the weight up into the balls of the feet. Really using all of our toes here, a little balance. And exhale, heels back to mat. Maybe you come back into our candlestick balance if that's what's good for you. Maybe you put the weight to the left foot, pick up the right foot here, and place the knee on the shin. Take a moment to take that left hip and suck it back in. Don't try and carry a basket on your hip. You can stay here or begin to work the right foot up the left leg. You can pause on the shin or just above the knee, but please avoid putting it directly on the knee. If you feel really good, you can grab the right foot, pressing it against the top of the left thigh. Maybe you bloom your hands upward. It's okay if you fall out, everybody does. Just find where you challenge yourself. You can stay here or inhale the right knee up. Exhale, shoot it out behind you. Maybe bring the hands down. You can also put the toe on the mat and then lift. Strengthening through the left leg, rooting down. Flex the right foot to help you balance, not point. Find cobra with the upper body. And exhale, melt the right foot back to the mat. Bending over, coming back to our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, melt the heart back to the knees. Before inhale, all the way back up into our candlestick. Feel free to enter the toe balance. Or if you just balanced on the left ankle, it would take some time. Rotate it out, stretch it out, before shifting the weight into the right foot this time. You can stay here with the knee resting on the ankle/lower shin. Take a moment, suck that right hip back in. Find a point on the floor. Maybe begin to lift the left leg. You may find one side more challenging than the other. Maybe grab the left foot and press it into the top of the right thigh. Or mid-thigh. Maybe you inhale your arms up into your tree. Option to stay here, or inhale the left leg up to create a 90-degree angle. Exhale, send the left leg out behind you. Straightening the right leg. Flex the left foot, don't point, to help you balance. Find cobra with the upper body. You can also bring the hands to heart center. And exhale, left foot back to mat. Take some time, rotate that right ankle. Show it some love. Before, inhale, arms up. Exhale, bring them out to the side, hinge at the hips, swan dive back down into our forward fold. Breathe deeply here. Deep inhale. Exhale, plant the hands, step or hop back into plank, or lifted knee tabletop. Before exhale, back into down dog. Inhale, left leg up. Exhale, step it up in between the hands, coming into high lunge. Maybe using the thumbs back to activate the upper body. Just like our runner stretch, push the right heel into the back of the ring. But keep the hips high. Maybe sit the gaze forward. Inhale, really stretch the hips. Exhale, let the back feet drop. Maybe you scoot it a little further or a little closer for more or less of a hip stretch. But try and keep the knee directly over the ankle. Maybe bring the hands to the top of the knee. Try not to overcurve the spine here, but keep it neutral. Inhale the arms up, or cactus. Exhale, right hand goes back, left hand stays in the front. You can also bring it just to the lower back. Try and keep a neutral spine here, and walk the hand back towards the ankle, then bending into the spine. So I'm facing the opposite way of my lifted knee. And exhale, windmill the hands back down, lift the back knee by flexing the foot. Deep inhale. Exhale, step the foot back, chaturanga, all the way down to our belly. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, flex the feet, coming back into down dog or tabletop. Inhale the right leg up. Exhale, right ankle comes to left hand or left wrist just behind it. So your shin is metaphorically parallel to the top of your mat. Take a moment to crawl the back foot closer or further. Coming into our proud pigeon pose. If you have a block, you can grab that. Or some books, or folded towel. This is proud pigeon. I'm trying to balance the weight between my front calf and the back thigh. So you're not sitting on the right hip, but up, balancing the weight. If you need a little more intensity, the more parallel with the top of the mat that your shin is, more intense the stretches. You can stay in proud pigeon, or with each exhale, begin to lower. Maybe you just bend into the arms, or come onto the forearms, or forearms to block. Or you melt all the way down, heart to the floor. But take your time getting there, don't rush. Inhaling back up slowly out of our pigeon. You can stay in proud pigeon, or maybe you take a block, placing it under the right hand, and flex the back foot, send the back hand back. You can also use a strap here to reach for the back foot. Or exhale, if you have your foot, you can release it, planting the hands, flexing the back foot, lifting up the hips, bringing the right foot back to match the left. Take your time. Exhale back into down dog. It's important to come out of flexibility poses nice and slow. Maybe you walk your feet, pedaling them. Inhale, bend into the knees, look up past the fingertips, step, hop, or float up to the top of the mat, back into our forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Send the gaze out in front of you. Exhale, melt the heart back to the knees. Inhale all the way up. And bring the hands by the side. We're going to take the right leg, stepping it back. Not super wide, but I'd say if you were facing the long side, it should be about hips width. But both of the feet are facing the front of the mat here. And begin to hinge at the hips. Keep the spine perfectly straight. If you have a block or a chair or something to put your hand on, if you need, coming to a little kind of short triangle here. Hinging at the hips, not pulling towards the leg. My hands aren't pulling anything, but melting towards the floor. If you need to keep a little bend in the front knee, please feel free. Take a moment, release any tension you're holding in the jaw or your shoulders, and take that left hip and tuck it back in. And exhale, lifting here. Move the block if you have it. We're going to turn our feet to the right, to the long side of our mat. Walk that back foot nice and wide. Coming into the star pose. Inhale the arms up. Index fingers pointing upwards, gaze upwards. Exhale, hinge at the hips, keeping the spine straight. Before coming down into folded star. With the hands on the back of the shins, ankles, or the floor. Keep the hands there while inhale, halfway lift so you look forward, shoulders forward. Exhale, melt back down. Maybe you place your hands on the floor. You can also bring a block in. Exhale, bend into the knees. Maybe walk the feet back in, coming into Malasana squat. So my heels are on the mat. If you need to sit on a block here, that really helps. Take the elbows on the inside of the knees. Use them as leverage to push the knees out, activate the hips. Keep the chest up here, spine straight. If you don't have the hip flexibility, you can sit all the way down, knees kind of bent. Then bring the elbows in. If you practice Bakasana or crow pose, feel free to enter that here. Crow pose is bringing the knees to the triceps and lifting the feet. Exhale, release the elbows, straighten the legs. We're going to come back up to the top of our mat in forward fold. For exhale, plant the hands, step or hop back into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, flex the feet into down dog or tabletop. Inhale, left leg comes up, hips facing the mat. Exhale, step the right ankle up, left ankle up to the right wrist, coming into our brown pigeon, on the opposite side. Take a moment to adjust yourself. Balancing the weight again between the shin or calf and the back thigh. So there's space between my left thigh and the mat because I'm kind of sending the weight through the shin. Try not to sit into the left hip. If you have a block, you can grab it. Take your time lowering here, even if you only lower by bending slightly into the elbows. Or maybe you come into the forearms or the block before melting all the way down. Take your time inhaling back up. Send the weight into the hands. Flex the back right foot so your toes are on the mat. Lift the hip. Bring the left leg back to match. And down dog. Shining the inner thighs to the back of the room here. Melting the heels down. Inhale, bend the knees, look up past the fingertips, step hop or float up to the top of the mat. Coming in forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, melt the heart back to the knees. Before inhale, all the way back up, bringing the hands by the waist. This time you're going to step the opposite foot back, so the left. Pretty narrow stance here. If your feet were on the long side of the mat, you'd be about hips width or a little more apart, but both the feet are facing the short end of the mat. You grab a block and bring it close, or a chair. You can inhale, maybe inhale the arms straight. Bend at the hip here before bringing hands down. If you need to bend into the front knee, feel free. Maybe work hands down to the floor. You should be looking at your knee here. Take a second, release the tension in the jaw and the shoulders. Tuck the right hip back in. Each exhale, you're melting a little closer to the knee. Before inhale, bend into the right knee. Come all the way up. Shift both the feet towards the long side of the mat. Coming into star pose on the other side. We're going to take the back foot, walk it back nice and wide. Straightening the legs here. We're going to inhale, both the arms up. Maybe index fingers extended. Exhale, hinge at the hips here. Bringing the hands either to the back of the calves, or ankles, or the floor. Maybe you're looking up at the ceiling, or just the back wall. Inhale, keep the full hands on the mat or the legs. Halfway lift, send the gaze out in front, chest shining front. Exhale, melt the hands in the heart back down. Before exhale, plant the hands, bend to the knees, walk them nice and close, about hip widths apart before sitting down in Chaturasana squat. If you have a block, and this is really tight on your hips, you can sit on your block or fold a towel. If not, you're shining the heart forward, elbows in between the knees, pushing them away. Try and keep the shoulders away from the neck here. If you don't have hip flexibility, sitting down on your bottom, bring the feet out about a foot apart or away from your bottom. Then push into the knees. Don't try and over push if you're sitting down on the ground, but just enough to reach. Feel free to enter Vinyasa or crow's pose, which is planted hands, knees off the triceps, lifting the feet. Trying to lift the feet off the ground. But the rest of us will stay in Vinyasa spot. Exhale, we're going to come onto our bottoms here. Bring the feet back up to the top of the mat. Keeping the feet together. You can bring the hands either to the floor or take them underneath the knees. And maybe you begin to walk the toes a little closer to you, coming onto the tailbone. Keeping the chest shining up here, gaze up. Lifting the heart here. But wherever you are, feet lifted or a mat, or maybe even feet straight. We're going to exhale, left hands come down and up. Inhale, exhale, right hands ready to 12 the knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Exhale, let the feet fall to the mat. Maybe give your knees a little hug, kind of decompressing the spine. Yoga teachers count so slow. Coming into another round of up pose. Again, just try and keep the toes off the mat maybe, or lift one or the other, or coming with shins parallel to the mat. Either you have to take breaks. This time we're going to release the hands and try and extend the feet and lean the shoulders back. Nice and slow. Coming into low boat. Before exhale, bring it back all the way to the mat. Bring the soles of the feet back to the mat. Make them about hips width apart. We're going to windmill the knees. So bringing both knees to the left, stretching the hip, and back up. Right knees. Maybe just do one leg at a time. Pause where it feels good, fast or slow. before bringing both the feet together. Walk them a little closer to your bottom. Bring the hands either beside the hips or move them a little wider. Keeping the head during this pose, it's going to be bridge pose. We're going to look straight up, not looking left or right. You're going to ground through the soles of the feet, push through the front of the body. Lifting the hips off the mat. Try to release any muscles in the back of the legs, like the hamstrings, and try and just use all the muscles in the front body. If you have the flexibility, you can walk the shoulder blades underneath you, interlock the hands, lift a little higher. Bridge pose is a nice warm up for a wheel. Exhale, unhinge the shoulders, roll the spine back down. We're going to take the legs, take the right leg, cross it over the left leg, like you're sitting cross-legged in a chair. Take both the knees and bring them down to the left side, while grounding the right shoulder. Maybe you look over the right shoulder, a little twist. You can stay there. I'll demonstrate one more time. Legs uncrossed, bring the right over the left, and simply bring to the floor. Looking over the opposite shoulder. Inhale the knees back up, uncross the legs, walk them closer to the bottom again, bring the hands back beside the hips, coming back into our bridge pose. Inhale the hips up, maybe you pinch the shoulders, underneath you, grabbing the hands, clasping them together, lifting through the belly button here. Try and just keep your gaze looking up, not left or right. If you have a block, you can put that between the knees and squeeze it for a little more activation. And exhale, unhinge the shoulders, roll the spine back down. This time we're going to take the left leg, cross it over the top of the right. Then allow the right knees to fall to the right, or both the knees to fall to the right. Ground through the left shoulder, maybe look over the left shoulder. And inhale the knees up. Uncross the legs. Take your hands, put them underneath the knees. We're going to walk up, back onto our bottom. Send the leg out straight. Bring the right foot up to the left thigh. Take the right hand, send it behind you. So I'm facing my knee that's up. Inhale the left leg up. Shine the chest to the right. For exhale, bring the elbow to the outside of the knee, coming back to a little twist. Looking over the right shoulder here. Exhale, coming back. Maybe bring both the knees together and give your knees a little hug. Rounding the spine after all that back compression we put ourselves through for a bridge. This time we're going to send the right foot out, walk the left up near the right inner thigh. Send the left hand out behind you. Inhale the right hand up. Exhale, bring the right elbow to the outside of the left knee and twist. And exhale, return, straighten both the legs. Bringing the shoulders directly over the hips here. We're going to take the right foot, and you can either bring the ankle to the lower thigh, right above the knee. I would place it on the knee to avoid any pressure on the joint. Or take the foot, hug it really close into your hip, and put it up at the top of your thigh. Inhale, straighten the spine here. Exhale, melt towards the ankle. If your ankle is over top of your lower thigh, right above your knee, I wouldn't fold, but instead push the right knee away from you. Inhale up here, straighten out the right leg. Take some time to put the left ankle either again on the lower thigh, pushing away with your left hand. Or inhale, bring the foot up into the hip and fold towards the knee. Inhale up, send the feet out straight. Maybe kind of send yourself on your mat. We're going to lower back down onto our backs before bringing the soles of the feet back up again, just be on the mat. Take the soles of the feet, face them towards each other, let the knees fall outward. Maybe bring one hand on the belly, one on the heart. Before exhaling, bring the feet out to the corners of the mat, the toes facing outward, hands by the hips, palms up. Maybe you close your eyes or find a point on the ceiling. Coming into Shavasana, corpse pose. Take a moment to quiet yourself. Release any tension in the shoulders or the jaw or around the eyes. ready, you can begin to wiggle the toes and the fingers. Invite movement back into the body. Maybe you send the arms overhead for a big morning stretch. Deep breath. Maybe you bring the feet up, bringing the knees closer, coming up to the side. Take a moment here to take a breath for yourself, thanking yourself for taking the hour just to relax. And when you're ready, you can come back up into easy pose, easy seat. Taking one last inhale together, and exhale, namaste. Thank you for coming to a little online yoga class today. My name is Grace.